Take it easy.
Time to go. Cheer. Time. Time to go. As one with wind and cloud.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Stavo scatenare.
Into the wind.
Quietly now.
The wind knows me.
Busted.
あ
Quietly now.
Time to go. One with nature.
Things are about to get dicey. Cha! Busted.
It's getting a little cold.
Time to bundle up. Gotcha. Busted. Cha! Cha! Ta! Gotcha.
The wind knows me. Time to go.
Busted. Take it easy.
Chick!
Catch it already.
Clear weather all around brightens the heart. Time to go.
Add as. Thank you for Add Astra.
अच्छा अच्छा वो ओपरा है. ओपरा नहीं है, ओपरा तो आगे है. और क्या है? पहले वाले को वोट नहीं करेंगे, क्या आगे डाले। इसके भी हैं। ट्वेंटी फाइव चाहिए होते 5 मिनट, 750 चाहिए। तब जाके मैं नेक्स्ट टाइम खरीद पाऊंगा। मतलब पूरे अभी 146 और चाहिए। अब मिशन मिनट्स पहले ये करें, ये 9 टाइमर ये यार। अगर ने नया वायरल दिया हो तो ज़्यादा एक्साइट। वाला का ये कहाँ पर देखा, यहाँ पर और कुछ बाद में खोलेंगे पहले।
Take it easy.
काफी सही है। यहाँ तक आ ही गए हैं तो ऊपर आ लो।
Into the wind. One with nature.
भाई मुझे लग रहा है मैं बहुत गलत जा रहा हूँ। पर मेरी फीलिंग से बहुत गलत कर रहा था। अरे मैजिक सर्कल, पहले ये कर लेते हैं। सस्ता वाला था।
Easy money. Cha. Take it easy.
नेक्स्ट टाइम और क्या है ये हाँ
Cha.
जोड़ू कैसे
The wind knows me. Tch.
हुआ क्या? अच्छा ये यहाँ अरे तो
Time to go.
यहाँ लगाता है
Tch. A fateful offering.
अच्छा
Time to go.
इससे निकल हाय हाय भाई हेलो सर आज कैसे हो भाई बढ़िया भाई एक्चुअली आज देर हो गई भाई क्योंकि वो मेरा वाईफाई चला गया था भाई
Take it easy.
और जैसे ही सही हुआ वैसे ही मैं आ गया और हेलो और सिलेस क्लास को ऐसा ही मैं क्या करूँ उसकी पिटाई कर दूँ क्या पहले मुझे लग रहा है मुझे कोई ना कोई पॉइंट उसकी पिटाई तो करनी पड़ेगी भाई,
Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding.
चलो कर देते हैं पिटाई
Gotcha.
Wind strike.
ओ भाई बच गया
One with nature.
कभी मैसेज नहीं बैठता भाई अच्छा मेरे पास येलन है मैं भूल गया ऐसे लेसन नहीं होता भाई मुझे ये नहीं पसंद थोड़े आते ना वो जो उड़ने वाले जीव जंतु कुछ खास पसंद एक चैलेंज वो है और एक चैलेंज पहले वाला चैलेंज है
Take it easy.
आज मैं सोच रहा था ना पहले वाला मिशन कर लूँ तो ये बुक वाला था आइटम फाइंड कर फिर उसके बाद जाके वो करूँगा
Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding. Busted.
The wind knows me.
बहुत बढ़िया अरे यार वो गीला करने वाला कहाँ गया हाँ बहुत बढ़िया थैंक यू दोस्त बहुत मदद
One with nature.
और एनिमी से मैं मदद ले रहा था फील्ड तोड़ने के लिए
Brings a smile to my face. Time to go.
और इधर तो कुछ है नहीं, ऊपर ही चलना है। और चाहिए क्या
Take it
ये?
easy.
वो यहाँ पे है। ओ मैं समझ गया। जल्दी मूव हो जा, मूव हो जा।
Take it easy.
अरे वो चला गया। अरे वो लड़की वाला सास का सालसा। यार इससे कितने पैसे सालसा ये हर जगह मिल जाएगी मेरे को ये सालसा। सालसा गोश्त। अभी मुझसे कहेगी ये कुछ हिला दो हिला दो। ये वो क्या हिला सकते हैं? ये हिला सकते हैं दिक्कत। यहाँ लगा दो। बस एक ही जगह बची है अब। एक मिनट रुकना, कॉल आ रही है। हेलो। हाँ हाँ। पता नहीं, मैं स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ लाइव। तुम हमको स्ट्रीम के टाइम क्यों कॉल करते हो भाई? भाई अभी स्टार्ट 6 बजे स्टार्ट किया। नहीं नहीं, 6 बजे स्टार्ट किया। आ- आज 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 क्या हुआ ना, आज वाईफाई चला गया था मेरा, इसलिए आज 6 बजे स्ट्रीम कर रहा था। टेंशन ही खेलना और क्या।
Good roll. All right,
बैन कर
maybe
देंगे
I'll
और
take
क्या हो
one
तुम।
more day off and knock out the rest of the work
बैन
once I'm
करते
feeling
रहेंगे।
up to it.
सुनो, जितनी से भी आना लाइक कर देना, ठीक है? ठीक। भाई देख रहे हो, हेटर्स को भी वो बनाना पड़ता है कि आओ तो पर लाइक कर दो। ऐसा मोटिवेशन होना चाहिए कि आप आपसे कोई कहे कि मैं आपकी स्ट्रीम में आके मैस करना, तो हाँ भाई बस लाइक कर देना। हाँ अभी आ लेंगे। ओ आई थिंक, अरे
Fallen leaves, adorn my night. It's fine. This
भाई सारे नहीं हुए थे।
ends.
सारे नहीं हुए थे। ये कितना कूल था, अगर सारे एक साथ हो जाते भाई मजा आ
Suppose
जाता।
this will do.
बट क्या ही कर सकते हैं।
Teamwork is dreamwork.
यहाँ पे इतने बड़े सेज क्यों सजा हुआ है? यहाँ कुछ मिलता है क्या? एक वो है और शायद यहाँ पे चेस्ट है।
Large eavesdropper.
अरे मैं ड्रॉपर नहीं हूँ भाई।
Gotcha. Over here.
Into the wind.
Things are about to get dicey.
ये इन लोगों को लगता है छोटा मोटे खिलौने लगाने से ही मुझे हरा देंगे। सच में इतना कमजोर लगता है इन लोग को? छोटे मोटे खिलौने लगाएंगे मैं हार जाऊंगा?
Time to go.
यहाँ भी लगा रखा है, छोटे मोटे खिलौने लगाने के लिए तो लगने लगा कि आज
Birds come.
पहले उसको इससे मारते हैं जुलूस से, और ये होता है नो क्रेड। भाई ये मर गए, इसकी स्किल अभी तक यार।
We'll need more where that came from.
ये अब मुझे यहाँ जाना है जगह।
Take it easy.
या मुझे कि ये समझो ये स्टेज क्यों लगा हुआ है यहाँ पर इतना बड़ा, तो काम हो गया, कोई बॉस खड़ा रहता तो समझ आता है यार, स्टेज है बड़े, यहाँ कुछ है नहीं, पर जाना है पर तरीके से नहीं जाना भाई, अजीब बीमार इंसान ग्रेट है ये। यहाँ के देखो मॉन्स्टर अटैक ही नहीं करते भाई, अपने अपने से मतलब रखते हैं आते हैं, सो रहे हैं भाई आराम से, छुट्टी पर रहने लगता है।
Who says there aren't benefits to a life?
अरे पता है एक मिशन था उसमें मैंने यहाँ चढ़ गया हूँ, बट वो चल रहा मिशन। भाई वो देखो मैप में रेड आ रहा है, बट ये मुझे खुद ले आ रहा है। इसने मुझे यहाँ फेंक दिया, गुड, अब मुझे जाना है यहाँ पर अंडरग्राउंड। आज तो नहीं बोलूँगा, पहले ये दोनों खोल लेते हैं काफी। मैं नॉर्मली लोग ना मिशन कर रहे हो,
Time to go.
बट मैं नॉर्मल नहीं हूँ तो इसलिए मैं कुछ भी कर रहा हूँ। पर अलग मैं टेस्टी नहीं खोला। क्या है ऊपर, लेके तो ले जाना पड़ेगा कमल चेस्ट टाई वाला, ट्राई करो और 3 मस्त चेंज ले।
Take it easy.
अपने आप आ जाएगा। क्या कोई स्विच ऑफ बटन नहीं है क्या?
Game's up. Time's over. Busted.
One with wind and cloud.
Going in.
ये क्या हुआ? कमांड में अलग जाओ।
Here comes the catch. Quietly now.
Who says there aren't benefits to a life of wandering? Time to go.
देखो क्या भाई, क्या है यहाँ का मौसम भी खुला हुआ है, और ये क्या चीज है, क्या है दिखे ना? This appearance to be some kind of, अरे यार ये मुझे तरीका नहीं बताते, अपराध।
The wind knows me.
That's gonna hurt in the morning. Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's light it up. Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted. comes the cash.
The wind knows me.
Quietly now.
Clouds high. The birds come. One with nature.
Everybody stand back!
Time for retribution.
मुझे बात थोड़ा जा रहा है फेल कैसे हुआ
The wind knows me.
टाइम चल नहीं रहा है
Things are about to get dicey. Game's up. Fun's over. I'm going in! Huh?
ए यार पहले बटन
As
दबा
one with wind and cloud. One with nature. Time to go.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
The wind knows me.
Let's light it up! Your teamwork is dream work!
Wind strike.
Game's up. Fun's over.
चाहे सर्किल के बाहर नहीं जाना ओ मुझे लगा एक ये इसको प्रोटेक्ट करना क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम मैंने कोई टूटा नहीं था बट स्टिल उसने मेरा मिशन फेल कर दिया था अरे यार पता नहीं क्या मैं ऊपर जा रहा था ये देखो यहाँ पे एक और बोट है भाई ये वाली बोट आसमान में उड़ जाती पता है मैंने एक बोट उड़ा दी थी बट एक कंक्लूजन नहीं निकला मैं कूद गया बोट वो आसमान में उड़ती रही और मैं ये क्या है ये है क्या चीज लड़ने वाली है
Time for retribution.
भाई टुकड़ों में हो गई यार ये तो
Into the wind.
भाई भाई मेरी गलती माफ कर दे सर
Gotcha.
Fallen leaves adorn my night.
मेरी हेल्थ कम हो रही है
Going in! Huh?
Time to go. One with nature.
Quietly now. No, take it easy.
क्योंकि तुम सर्किल बाहर चले गए थे तो ये देखो एक और आ गया अरे मैंने वो नहीं किया अच्छा ये मैं डेंड्रो से फ्यूज क्यों
Gotcha. Here comes the cash.
Into the wind. Verdict is as one with wind and cloud, one with nature.
Busted. Everybody stand back! Ha! Things are about to get dicey. Gotcha.
अच्छा ये लोग जा सकते हैं, मैं नहीं जा सकता। तो ये तो वो नेपोटिज्म हुआ।
I suppose this will do.
भाई ये देखो क्या मिला, पेपर मिला भाई, निशान मिला। क्या मैंने जैसे पेपर किए थे मैं। ये तो आसपास खाली एक वो चैलेंज है, चैलेंज क्या है ये? ए भाई मुझे अभी तक सबसे खतरनाक यही लगा, ये तो घूम रहा है भाई, ये क्या है भाई? मूव करना है। चलो निपटते हैं, क्या कर सकते हैं, ऑप्शन ही है। चेस्ट मैसेज को देखा क्या?
A chest full of valuables.
चलो बस मेरा हो गया,
And a
बाय
trove of potential clues.
बाय बाय बाय। मैं जा रहा हूँ भाई, चेस्ट चाहिए था भाई, मिल गया। और क्या इसके बाद कुछ है क्या? भाई ये मछली चिड़िया खा रहा था, मैंने पकड़ लिया।
Take it easy.
अवॉइड करो जितना, अगर चेस्ट फ्री मिल रहा था तो मत लड़ो भाई, निकल बस अपना अपना काम करो। क्या जरूरत है? भाई ये इनुजुमा में जो वो नहीं था, वो सांप स्केलेटन टाइप, वैसा वैसा ही लग रहा है क्या कुछ? तो रेडन ने काट दिया था बीच से। और क्या है, अगर ये यहाँ का
One way to draw your target out of hiding.
मिल गया। मैं चढ़ भी पाऊंगा ऊपर तक? आई थिंक चढ़ना ही नहीं है। यस नहीं चढ़ना है, चढ़ना ही नहीं था भाई। वहां तक क्यों चढ़ना होगा? अरे यार वो क्या चीज है?
Into the wind.
मुझे लग रहा है मैंने चेस्ट ले लेना चाहिए था पहले, कर दी मैंने गलती, कर दी मैंने गलती भाई। चेस्ट ले लेना चाहिए था मुझे। हाँ भाई इसका है, पानी के अंदर है। अच्छा ये भी सांप है? भाई मैं तो मजाक में बोला था, ये भी सांप है। एक मिनट रुको जरा, ये इसका स्कल है, बड़ा अजीब सा है बट अच्छा इसकी भाई कितने बड़े जानवर होते थे पहले। इतना बड़ा तो हमारा कौन सबसे बड़ा? डेंडो ड्रैगन आई थिंक सबसे बड़ा था ना, डेंडो ड्रैगन तक भी जो हम लोगों ने देखा है। खतरनाक चीज में
One with nature.
पहले तो वाला मिस्ट्री कर लेते हैं वाला, उसके बाद वो नीचे वाले देखते हैं। और खतरनाक है भाई बात है। मतलब समझो पूरा एक आइलैंड है भाई, इसको कैसे मारा हो गॉड्स? क्या पावर है गॉड्स के बाद? ऐसी उन्होंने इतने बड़ी चीज को मार बड़े कर दी भाई। पीछे देखो जरा, मैं वो कहाँ गई हमारी जेल? मटीरियल हो गया ना।
my processing speed.
मैं से इसको इसलिए अपग्रेड कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि इसका जो येलन जैसा डैश है ना वो बहुत अच्छा अपग्रेड चाबी वाला चाहिए और आई थिंक ये ही दोनों अपडेट करना होगा पहले वाली स्किल तो मैटर नहीं करती और कितना दूर ले जा रही है ये मैं डायरेक्ट चला जाऊंगा
Brings a smile to my face.
सीने किसको चाहिए ये क्या हुआ लगा मेरी स्ट्रीम चली गई मेरी स्ट्रीम फंस क्यों गई है मेरे ही फोन में फंस रही है क्या एक बार रिफ्रेश करना अगर स्ट्रीम फंस रही है तो यार स्ट्रीम फंस रही है ये क्या हो रहा है भाई ये चीजें नहीं है नेट की प्रॉब्लम है क्या भाई कर दो हाँ भाई ये पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है क्या बेकार है भाई एक भाई जियो यार ये सब दिक्कतें देगा ना तो भाई ना हो पाएगा भाई कितना खराब नेट चल रहा है आई थिंक नेट का दिक्कत है भाई है स्पीड तो सही आ रही है 24 आ रही है ठीक है मतलब बहुत अच्छी भी नहीं है आई थिंक नाउ एक बार रिफ्रेश कर लो एक बार अब ठीक है ओके नहीं भाई ये आज ओके चलो यार ये मरता है ये चेयर बाकी सबको तो मारो अरे बात है तो वो वन शॉट चला गया और ये तो पायरो है पानी के तो ये लिंक का काम नहीं करता देखो भाई मैं कैसे मार दूं भाई चीटिंग कर रहा है तो मेरे चीटिंग करेगा भाई मेरे भी दिखा तो स्ट्रीम एंड हो गई ये क्या ग्लिच हो रहा है आज
Who says there aren't benefits to a life of wandering?
भाई स्ट्रीम एंड नहीं हुई है स्ट्रीम चल रही है और कुछ दिक्कत आ रही है गलत वाली एंड नहीं हुई है स्ट्रीम नो एंडिंग ब्रो जल्दी से बढ़िया। यार अब इमेजिन करो इसके जो वेपन है वो क्रिट डैमेज और क्रिट वाले आ जाए भाई, क्या ही। तब ऐसे वेपन तो अभी तक आए नहीं है।
Take it easy.
हाँ ऊंचा भाई। चला गिर जाएगा ये।
Into the wind.
ये फोन
Things
क्या
are
है?
about to get dicey. Quietly now.
चल नहीं रही है। बराबर क्या?
Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding.
मुझे कहा मुझे नहीं चाहिए। हाँ। तो अब मैं जाऊंगा। पहला हो गया, पहला भी हो गया। ये अच्छा क्या?
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from.
ये क्या है? Defeat मनुष्य। ये अलग अलग है क्या? आईडी और ये नेम ये अलग अलग है भाई, देखे जरा। ये अलग अलग है यार, तो दोनों सेम लग रहे, मतलब अलग अलग कैसे हरा हूँ मैं इनको। अब मुझे क्या चलेगा उनमें से किसका नाम क्या है? सब गलत है सर। अभी मैं तो चाहिए मेरे को।
For justice. Send one, send them all.
देखिए भाई अलग अलग है। भाई मुझे इनमें से मेरे को एक मिनट दोबारा कंफर्म कर लें। तो किसको मारना है? ये मानना है ये की नहीं, इसको मारने की जरा व्यवस्था कर दी।
Rain cutter, know my sword. Rain out. Mine's your fate. Game's up. Time's over. Busted. Higher, higher, hands on fire.
भाई ये तो मैंने वन शॉट कर दिया इसे। यार ये तो इसमें कुछ और अच्छा वो 5 स्टार होगा। चलो भाई इसको मारना है अंडरग्राउंड। ये पायरो टाइप क्रैप तो नहीं है। चलो एक से अच्छा हुआ तुम पानी डूब के नहीं मरो। लाल इन यहाँ पर इतने में अरे निकला। हाँ शायद भाई। अच्छा ये बताओ वो दोनों अलग अलग क्यों? वो एक ही तो मॉन्स्टर है, वो अलग अलग क्यों है? नहीं ये समझ नहीं आया यार, ये कुछ ज्यादा ही अंडा है। क्या करना है इसमें? इससे जाता है हाँ। नहीं 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 नहीं। सब ठीक था, हमको चैलेंज मिल गया। मैंने यहाँ पर इस जगह पर एक वो दिया तार, और वो ले लिया, बट उसमें करना क्या था वो समझ नहीं आया मेरे। भी आऊँगा दोबारा यहाँ पर, बट पहले कल तो सही लॉन्गली अच्छा सुनने का नहीं बात। अच्छा मुझे लग रहा है कि सारे उससे सर्किल से निकलना है। ये थोड़ा टफ है मेरे लिए, एक बार रुको फिर से कर लूंगा। ठीक। तो ये दिखाया ना करे, पूरा मूड खराब हो जाता है। अरे यार ये मिस क्यों कर देता है? अच्छा पास थ्रू 6 से पास थ्रू होना ना। भाई इतना गंदा स्मॉल कैरेक्टर यूज करो, ऐसा भी क्या कुछ? तो पहले ऊपर जाऊंगा और फिर उसके बाद फिर नीचे तक जाऊंगा। ये दो मिस कर दिए, वापस जा सकते क्या था? हो गया, सिस्टम फाड़ देंगे। देखो आगे टिकट सकता हो सर। सिस्टम आ गया भाई, सिस्टम। अरे यहाँ पानी बन रहा है, पड़ जाएगा भाई। पायरो कराया गया यार, तो मैं कहीं से मारे।
Witness the power of Gojo. Huh? Huh. Here comes the catch. Gotcha. Shot's over.
यार ये तो 2 सेकंड में खत्म हो गया। ये था चैलेंज, 2 सेकंड खत्म हो गया आज ये तो। तो इधर वाले सारे मिशन हो गए, इसके वाला ये वाला भी करना है क्या? ये तो वेलकम है और कर चुके हैं, अभी निपटा दिया भाई। नेक्स्ट स्पाइरल रेज या तो बहुत टफ आया था या तो ये सब आएंगे। वो वाला मुझे टफ लग रहा है, वो वाला। ये तो इजी है, तो मारना इजी। जाना यहाँ पर, अंडरग्राउंड है, बस कुछ है नहीं जाने, हम ऊपर जाएंगे। आल्ट्रा चीप कॉपी, हाँ बहुत ज़्यादा ही चीप है भाई आल्ट्रा। चीपेस्ट कॉपी, चीपेस्ट क्रैप बना दिया आल्ट्रा को। बताओ यार, उसकी बेइज्जती है यार। देख आल्ट्रा के बैकग्राउंड में गाना बज रहा होगा, वाला कोई पर्सनल हो रहा होगा आल्ट्रा। अरे सिस्टम लाइक कर दिया सिस्टम तुमने? लाइक वाइक नहीं करा, बस सिस्टम काट देंगे वो देगा भाई। लाइक नहीं करा,
Take it easy.
लाइक नहीं करा तुमने प्रज्वल। देखो या तो मैं उधर जा सकता हूँ, एक चीज देखो जरा, ये मुझे वहाँ इस पर नहीं फेंकेगा। अच्छा मुझे लग रहा है मुझको ये दिला देगा एक। नहीं चाहिए मुझे, मुझे चाहिए नहीं।
Let me weave you a verse. No, my sword.
अच्छा मेरे पास जोंगली नहीं, वो नहीं था।
Busted.
Have a little taste.
तेज निकली हो लोग। अब मेरा रिवॉर्ड था इन लोगों को बचाने का, एक और बचाने का। ये देखो भाई कैसे निकल। Where is my reward? और है क्या?
Take it easy.
भाई साथ तो बचा लिया मैंने। भाई चूना लगा दिया भाई, चूना लगा दिया भाई। नहीं दिया इन लोगों ने। एक मिनट, नहीं चूना नहीं लगाया। भाई वो वाला अपने को रोक देता है भाई।
Take it easy.
चलता रहा हूँ, पक्का लग्जरी चेस मिलने वाला। कैरेक्टर की हाइट देख के हो रहे हैं लोग।
Quietly matched.
ऐसे खड़ा होता है, ऐसे तीनों को
This is order.
पहले तीनों को। अरे बच गया। मैं सोच रहा हूँ ज़ॉम्बी को फिजिकल बना दूँ भाई, देख लो डैमेज। मजाक थोड़ी ना भाई, डैमेज है। यार वो सब पहले से वाले मैं उनको बंदा कर। very
A
slow.
chest full of valuables and a trove of potential clues.
एकदम फाड़ दिया भाई. दिखे अंदर भाई वहाँ वो पड़ा है. मुझे वहाँ तो पूरा छोड़ के आएगा. और अगर इसने मुझे वो दिलवाया, मैं बता रहा हूँ मैं इसका मर्डर कर दूंगा. प्लीज 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 यहीं पटक दो, यहीं पटक दो.
Take it easy.
मैं इतनी देर से घूम रहा हूँ, मैंने कितना कर लिया? 5%. नहीं करा भाई इसका फोर्स. क्या
Take it easy.
चल गया थोड़ा सा. 22 सेकेंड्स के अंदर बनना. ये हो गया पोपट. हो गया पोपट भाई, हो गया. पहले ऊपर चढ़ जाओ थोड़ा सा. अरे सस्ता चस लेना.
Easy money.
सस्ता था सस्ता भाई सस्ता. मुझे एक चीज समझ आई. ये इंस्टॉल कर दिया, देख रहेगा ऐसे, ठीक है. तो मैं इसको अच्छा ये अपने ये हो जाएगा. अरे यार सालसा आने वाली भाई, देखो सालसा आने वाली. रेडी फॉर सालसा, रेडी फॉर सालसा भाई. अरे सालसा सालसा आ गया भाई सालसा. भाई मुझसे कही कुछ खिसका दो, खुद नहीं कर पाती है. लड़की आ जाएगी. हाँ भाई लड़की, भाई लड़की. लड़की मुझसे कही कुछ खिसकाओ. ये तो किसकेगा
Take it
नहीं.
easy.
किसकेगा तो लगा तो बीच मार गया. नहीं इसको पसंद नहीं आया. हाँ लगा दो. बदले में कुछ देगी क्या भाई? इसका मुझे हिस्ट्री जाननी है कौन. क्यों मुझे बार बार डिपेंड कर रही है. कहीं ये लुमीन और एथर के बीच की बाल तो बाल गोल्डन में से थोड़ी मानता. ये रहा चेस्ट और एक ऊपर दो है, तो पहले निपटा देते हैं.
Time to go.
क्या इसकी वॉल क्यों नहीं है?
Jackpot.
मतलब ऐसे बोला चकते फटते. जैकपॉट इसने सुनाई दिया मुझे, मुझे चमके पट्टे सुनाई दिए। कोई यहाँ बात नहीं, पहले ऊपर में पहले का। बेटा तुमने सारे कर लिए 100%। ये बचा है। चढ़ जा। कुछ समझा नहीं यार, ये मतलब 2 और लेना ना। बड़ा अजीब से कुछ आ रहे भाई।
Unsolicited, and all the more valuable.
Stabilize.
ये फ्लावर उठा लेना, ये फ्लावर चाहिए उसके लिए। क्या नाम है अपने? लिनेथ के लिए। लिनेथ को ये फ्लावर बहुत पसंद है। He wants flower everywhere। अभी नहीं किया है मैंने, कर लिया टेलीपोर्ट पॉइंट। वो अभी जो तुमने टेलीपोर्ट पॉइंट ओपन किया। नाइस।
Solidify.
क्या कार्टूनी दिखता है भाई।
Rain outlines your fate.
ये करेगा डॉगी बाजी, ये करेगा डॉगी बाजी।
Take it easy. Easy money.
अच्छा मुझे अब इससे टेलीपोर्ट होना चाहिए। होने के बाद मुझे बात है।
Stabilize.
ये को दबा दिया भाई जॉन्गली ने अपने। यार पड़ेगा तो फिर मारना पड़ेगा। मशीन इसका सिस्टम हैंग कर दूंगा।
Rain outlines your fate. Gotcha.
हैंग हो गया। कौन मेरे पीछे पड़ गया भाई? अच्छा तो ये मुझे पर्पल वाला लगाना, ठीक है। कितनी चल के क्यों आया?
Take it easy.
क्या नहीं यार कुछ गड़बड़ कर रहा हूँ क्या मैं? तो सिस्टम के नीचे रहना पड़ेगा। सिस्टम के नीचे नहीं, मैं घर के नीचे रह रहा हूँ और मेरी छत का नाम सिस्टम है, तो मैं क्या बोलूँ? एक्चुअली मैं सिस्टम के सामने रह रहा हूँ करंटली। हम लोग सबको पता होगा कंप्यूटर को सिस्टम बोलते हैं, ठीक है। मैं सिस्टम के सामने हूँ।
Take it easy.
नाटकबाजी। ओ यार जेनशाइन वालों को कलर ब्लाइंड है भाई।
Quietly now.
वन शॉट खेल लेगा। वन शॉट किल।
Jackpot.
अरे नहीं, शिट। ये बाजी ने जानबूझ के खिला रहे हैं आप। ये मुझे अभी रुको, तुम वो स्पाइरल बेस खेलेगा, मेरे आगे झुक के रहना पड़ेगा। हाँ वो भाई सही बात, जब ये स्पाइरल बेस में आएगा ना भाई, तब तब ये सिस्टम मार देगा, तब किसी की तैसी कर देगा। अबे हाँ भाई, बहुत अनोइंग हो जाएगा, सही बात। कूद कूद के अभी तो बहुत मार रेफरी कहेगा, अभी तो रुक तो रुक। मैं बहुत दिन से तुम्हारा गेम देख रहा था, मैं सोच रहा बजाने वाला नींद मिलता है।
Take it easy. Easy money.
देखो अब मैंने कितना कर लिया, लास्ट में 25%, भाई 40% हो गया। 40% दो तीन चेस खोलेंगे नहीं। ये देखो यहीं पड़ा था, मैं आ रहा था। हम आर देंगे, वो उसका बड़ा अच्छा लगा ना उसका अनार। छपरी कौन है यार, वो छपरी दीपक चला लो। छपरी नहीं है भाई, मतलब टैलेंट है, मतलब बहुत बढ़िया। तो आती है इसको, मैंने जिनकी वीडियो देख के भी हंसी आती थी, उनकी वीडियो देख के।
Whoa! What a huge ship!
ब्रेक चाहिए।
There's no need to be so surprised.
Dude,
While it may
मेरा
look
फोन
like a
कर
ship, it's actually Spina di
Depok
Rosula's
Talal.
headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this.
भाई ये पहिए है तो पैसे वाली, ये लगता है
Design is the
बढ़िया
only
है।
thing we
लाइक
occasionally
मी,
had in
पैसा
common.
छुपा के रखती है।
A gigantic and glamorous
ये
ship
दिखाती मैं गरीब
embodies
हूँ,
discovery,
एक्चुअल में ये
opportunity,
बहुत अमीर है।
ambition, and
ये
conquest.
बनिया है,
It
का नाम है
symbolizes
नाविया
Spina di
बनिया।
Rosula's bright
गुप्ता,
and limitless future.
का नाम नाविया गुप्ता है, पक्का कह रहा हूँ।
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina
ये
di
बनिया भाई,
Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon
ये
was
दोनों को
confused why
पोपट
a
उड़ा
group
रही है।
with such a
पहले इन लोग पे
history would
छोटी छोटी
live in
इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रही है, बाद में से अच्छे से रिटर्न लेगी।
this ship for herself? Shit.
Well, Poisson is
बढ़िया है
where
भाई,
Spina di
बढ़िया।
Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
डिटेक्टिव तो साइड पर गया, मेन वर्क में तो ये कुछ और ही कर। और वो जो मछली टंकी हुई है, मुझे अच्छा एक चीज समझ नहीं आई, पॉकीमॉन में पॉकीमॉन्स अलग हैं, ओके, और एनिमल्स अलग हैं, जिनको लोग खाते थे एनिमल्स को, ठीक है, जिनका वो लोग ऐसा नॉन-वेज खाते थे, तो एनिमल्स अलग हैं। तो पॉकीमॉन भी टाइप के एनिमल्स ही तो हुए, तो मतलब वो लोग पॉकीमॉन को भी खाते होंगे। समझ नहीं पाया अभी तक, मैं सोचता रही बात, मैंने बहुत सोची बात, और फिर कभी कुछ कंक्लूजन नहीं निकला कि ये क्या हो सकता है। तो पॉकीमॉन भी एनिमल्स हुए, तो उनको भी लोग खाते होंगे, मतलब उनका नॉनवेज लोग खाते हैं कि, और अगर एनिमल्स हैं तो कभी दिखाई क्यों नहीं गया। मैंने पॉकीमॉन में कभी एनिमल्स नहीं देखे, मैंने सिर्फ पॉकीमॉन देखे हैं, और वो नॉनवेज खाते थे। क्या गड़बड़ है? आ गया भाई, सिल्वर कहाँ गया?
Milus, we're back.
मिलूस नाम है इसका, मिलूस। सिल्वर कहाँ भाई?
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners.
ठीक
You
है
said
भैया।
before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
That CLOV का है ना? Black, silver। अच्छा नहीं, इसकी शक्ल अलग है, शक्ल थोड़ी सी अलग है, मतलब आँखें भी थोड़ी अलग, वो ज़्यादा, जो हमारा सस्ता जोंगली है ना, वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छा है। पॉकीमॉन में मैंने कभी एनिमल्स नहीं देखा। सही बात, और जो नॉनवेज खाते हैं। तो हमारा सस्ता जोंगली है, शक्ल इससे मिलती है क्या? पूरी फिजिक्स में लगा।
About you still remember, right, Balus? On that night, it was raining.
Yes, the case was quite similar to that.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. Could excite your mood and
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
ये समझ गया। ऑटो से हटा दी मैंने।
Yes, he did.
ये तो हुआ।
Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance.
Yeah.
As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
तो ये मतलब हुआ कि तुम्हारे फादर ने उसको मार दिया? वही तो नॉर्मल सा वे समझेगा।
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired.
Maybe your father got into an argument with Jacques.
You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however,
उसके पापा ने गोली चलाई थी कि नहीं चलाई थी? इसके पापा ने मुंह तो खोला होगा कि हाँ भाई मैंने चलाई नहीं चलाई। क्या कह रहे थे?
Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of his former glory, there's no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that.
सोचा तो यही होगा.
Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for...
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take...
So you do know something else, Malus.
ये अच्छा इसका ये पर्सनल मिशन होगा भाई.
In fact, even before that banquet, but what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right. So nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up
भाई
everything
इसमें
precisely
तीसरी बार होता हुआ
because
देख रहा हूँ.
he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now?
He gave up. He gave you the choice to live how you want.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and there's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. But a single visit to their headquarters
भाई
would be
next
tantamount
update
to
में
a
राइडेन
formal
शोगन आज पता है.
declaration of war.
तो
The
next
worst
update के
case
next
would be
phase
that we
में
leave
मतलब
empty-handed,
4.1 में next
but
phase
also open
the second
ourselves
last
up to
phase में.
full retaliation.
तो कितना टाइम लगेगा उसको आने में भाई सही कह रहा था.
Authorities.
क्योंकि ये तो बकवास
You
करता है.
saw one of
ये तो मैं skip भी तो कर सकता हूँ.
Like you've put a lot of thought
I am the butler. I've always been willing to take on any kind of...
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. When I announced or if the vendors, after several the first is Florent, Spina de Rosula's senior advisor.
Yeah.
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people boss, thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle. He always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabaret.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, since Thierry is always in the know
भाई
about
कितने
our
मासूम
current
लोग
activities,
culprit है.
he could theoretically always
क्या
plan one
suspect
step
है?
ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regular. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And
Yes.
thank you, Malus.
My
You
pass.
provided us with a lot of
Hutao.
great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner.
Give it to me.
I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
लिख लो भाई, सब लिख लो आज. ये हो गया. एक मिनट मुझे की देख. जो बैनर है ये है 17 दिन का. और मैंने मुझे लगता है अपडेट आई सिर्फ 3 दिन हो गए. हाँ हाँ, मतलब 18-20 दिन का बैनर होता है. तो मैं देख लेता हूँ. जाना क्रोम पर अपनी बस पहली स्ट्रीम खोल के देखो. लाइव स्ट्रीम 2 days हो गए. क्या 1 लाख बन. हाँ तो मतलब 20 दिन का एक बैनर है. तो आज डेट है. डेट क्या है? अच्छा 18 तारीख. ये स्टार्ट 40 दिन. 40, 50 और 7 days. नेक्स्ट मंथ आएगी. तो अभी मेरे पास 75 विश होती है, बट मैंने 10 विश यहाँ वेस्ट कर. ये वेपन अच्छा लगा. गलती कर दी गई.
It is settled then. Please excuse me and enjoy your conversation at your
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
भाई यहाँ पे आर्टिक साउंड करते तो सही ग्राफिक्स आएगी.
Do you need anything from us?
जाके देखो बच्ची, जाके देखो.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you, and to all of us.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
गुड, इनका बयान हो गया. अब चलते हैं आगे और लोग का बयान देंगे.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should...
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each other.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Maloof's told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rasula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
अभी 2-3 लोग का बयान आ लेते मैं बयान का क्या अरे नहीं हो गया सर ऊपर आउट चल पास है ये इसका बयान
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've caught news of that.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rasula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat.
Yes. What happened at the Opera House?
Ah, I get it. If you want to go through the...
That'd be much appreciated.
Of course. Without that, why do you ask? We definitely...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is, if I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to if you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be...
Oh,
मुझे देखना है giant
then
room
you're
का क्या
officially
केस
in the
है.
clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
Okay, इसका भी हो गया. और भाई कुछ एक्शन नहीं हो रहा यार. बिना एक्शन के बोरियत हो जाती है. और जैसे पास करो. और जो मिशन मुझे लग रहा है ये ठीक है. आने वाली नहीं ये.
Quake!
मुझे देखे पलट जाती है आराम से. देखिए
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Sure. I will let him...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to...
Yes.
Oh,
That's right. I also witnessed to beat the Hydro...
oh.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is.
Uncle Marcel, you...
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Arrhenius by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas. But rest assured, if anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabriere will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you. Uncle, do you have any new
The Confrérie, then I have to...
Oh, it
Sounds good, all my wealth.
Take it easy.
We've talked to all three.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to... Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right. Florent mentioned that Callus probably...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
If I was Jacques,
And why is that?
will be guaranteed safety after killing.
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Orden. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a... Besides, Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex for personal use. But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under...
Yeah. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out.
Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means when it comes...
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think...
तो भाई एक ही इंसान बचा.
Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. Still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business? Who could it be?
यही लग रहा.
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging we need far more solid proof before we can hope to go-
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What?
आगे
Is
चाहिए.
that someone you know?
और नहीं तो क्या?
We know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our plans.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the...
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Huh?
Hello, ये
Split
क्या?
up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my... Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be...
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for air...
See you then!
चल भाई अब मेन चीज का इंतजार है साइड
Now
बिठाइएगा
that Navia has set out for Aranea,
एक मुझे कुछ खा
the location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
इससे काम हो गया
Easy money. Take it easy.
अरे यार
A chest full of valuables and a trove of potential clues.
This is order. Solidify.
Oh, what a cute treasure coffin.
I hope we find long-lost ancient literature.
तो हो गया 25%.
Body and mind.
Huh. According to Malusa's info, the synth production base is underwater.
गया यार.
Let's go and try to find the entrance.
ये क्या ये टूट क्यों नहीं रहा? मुझे लग रहा है तीनों को एक ही उसमें बोलना है. एक पॉसिबल वेट ना पड़े ऑर्डर वॉर की नकल कर ले.
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. Navia's
ठीक है. पहली बार से कट सीन दिखा रहे होंगे ना कि इस साइड ट्रैवलर और
Let's repeat my question again, Mr. Top. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This
हमें
isn't
पता
the
चाहे
place for you to be looking
विप्लव
for fights.
इतना कैसे?
Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key out. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjection.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearance. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is...
select करते हैं.
Something's not right. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabriere. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gun. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarande in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known...
Anyway,
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
so I don't think ये इसमें कुछ है. ये 2 gunshot जैसी बात है तो ये चीज है.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene. and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
One shot, I
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Ah, so that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove you're innocent.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a
मुझे पता है ये लड़ती क्यों नहीं वो चाइल्ड ना चैलेंज कर रहा है इसने कहा मैं नहीं लड़ता हूँ सो ये सब
How do I feel like Farina's
पर
acting
मुझे
a
लग रहा
little
कुछ गड़बड़ है
differently today?
ये कुछ पावर अबर
She's
नहीं है इसके
scared of
पास
embarrassing herself again?
No,
Alternatively,
bhai.
she's become more diligent after charging an
वो
innocent
बड़ी बातें
citizen in
करते
the
हैं और
last
फिर
trial.
शाम बैठ जाती है उनमें से
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt the dissolving power of water from the primordial sea. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right, but what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect any? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So,
You mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about...
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are
भाई
connected
लोग
via a
कितने
matter of time.
ज़्यादा selfish type के लोग हैं भाई
In
यहाँ
my
पे.
father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing two gun. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyway.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things,
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
भाई फंस गया, वो फंस गया भाई। क्या?
Body in mind.
Stabilize.
Let me weave you a verse. Huh? Things are about to get dicey. Busted.
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
हाँ अच्छा ठीक है।
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
पानी के अंदर भी करना पड़ेगा आज रास्ता। थोड़ा सा और हुआ था ऊपर यार।
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Gotcha.
और है, मुझे पता था और एक चक्कर में अपनी सही से पावर यूज कर क्या।
Rain outlines your fate. Time to act.
अब पहुंच जाऊंगा तो बिना
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
body and mind.
बड़ा अमीर बनता है भाई.
Time to act. Witness the power of Gua. Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now. Take it easy.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mess. That's right. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these? Huh? You mean the girls from and all the boxes of things? These names. Oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all this. If you dilute it with Paimon, we'll take note.
भाई सारे तो क्लू मिल गए यहाँ पर.
Let's see what's written. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an... This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still the old dogs. He can act when I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just so... What's this over here? Looks like something. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read something so scary. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter of fact? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did it all. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally took his lover... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water? In any case, Paimon will write it all down. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primal... Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stack sample? Huh. Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's super obvious. We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on. Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Nervalet wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing. Paimon won't admit defeat to this guy either.
भाई कितना रिसर्च करना है
You take that side and Paimon will... Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see.
पाइमन को लगा स्नैक्स में
Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her... Aw. It's just a normal dog. So many. The final name she decided on was Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son? Hey! Paimon's still...
सॉल्व बाकी मोटिव्स तो वही बताएगा ये बताइए कौन है
And whose image do you see? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh,
I've...
I was
Navia! We're back!
as expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found.
भाई डायरी दे रहेगा ना
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know everything. After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established. This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we...
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the...
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me. I still need to save Vignier. I promise. We met Vignier. Vignier, please, Vignier. Don't think badly of me. All I want to do is fulfill our promise.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearance. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel, and during the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rasula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rasula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to this. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all. The oratrice will now... According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, guilty.
Guards! Take the Good. It's what he did.
With that...
We really just...
Yippee! He's hurt so much. Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol'... Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to, so...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can...
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just...
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is in. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be. What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on Chen?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter.
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court protocol.
ये बात अब आने वाला.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
चाइल्ड से पंगा पहली मुझे चाइल्ड सही लगा.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the Oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it. I don't know what happened there either. Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called just...
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be... Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's...
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she...
However, given and... of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of everything he's done. Not to mention the danger he poses are beyond ordinary comfort. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, after all, He's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Yeah.